The world has changed. 268 meters square block. If you told us that 20, 30, 40 years ago, you'd say we were crazy. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about a record sale and what the buyer's going to do with it after they've paid 3.4 for the land. Stay tuned.
Good morning.
Mr. Michael Silgic, how are you?
I'm good, Mark. How you going?
Good, good, good.
Tale of the sale.
The tale of the sale of 24 Oliver Street, a house that was 60 years ago, built over 2 blocks. A
Yeah,
house that was on, how big was the total block size
it was
of the
about
two?
568 square meters, roughly, or 570 something.
And then you chop it in half,
Yeah.
and hey pronto, you've got 2 blocks of 260, 270 meters squared, and it freaks people out, these block sizes.
Well, it just didn't really exist before. The minimum lot sizes previously used to be much, much bigger. And I guess the whole concept of unit living now or townhouse living, it's something that's still, well, it wasn't around 70 years ago really as much, and now it's become more and more prevalent. And so are these smaller block sizes. I think it's the way of the future with it. I think there's some severe advantages with it as well. But the bottom line is we got to fit in some density.
And you know what? People say block sizes weren't around like that. Everyone thinks that, but the truth is there was terraces, there was semis. They've always been around, but we sort of got away from them a lot. So as we sort of decentralized
Yeah.
out, we got sort of used to bigger blocks and a bit more spoiled. But now it's sort of gone the other way. Now, this
Mm.
this one in Freshwater, I just want to talk about the sale. You know, a lot of prospective purchaser inquiries. The biggest handle that people were trying to get on this property was what's it going to cost to build 2 houses on each, 1 house on each block,
Yes.
and what would they sell for? How did you go
Yes.
with that? With talking with buyers?
So the biggest thing people wanted was certainty. They wanted to know that obviously the price that they're paying, working backwards from how much the build cost was going to be, that if someone's looking to do a development like that, they want to make some money. They're looking for a bit of profit with it, so they wanted to make sure that after all their expenses, all the income that came in, that there was money left over. And I think somewhere in a blue chip location like this one, because this was down in Freshwater, just outside of the basin there, you're quite insulated with prices. A brand new product, there's not many of them around there. And so what you
Yeah.
found was the premium you'd be able to sell one of those properties for held you in good stead.
Now, this sold, so the campaign we had lasted, we had about 4 weeks off market that we worked with database. We had about 2-3 weeks on market that
Mm.
we did with realestate.com.
Yes.
Couple of different offers that were on the property. We
Yeah.
had one party which were just a straight up and down offer
Yes.
on the property. I think they were circa sort of 4.3 sort of mark, very vanilla. Sorry, I should say 3.3 mark. Then
Yeah.
there was another party you had, they had terms, which is pretty
Yes.
rare, and the owner was, which was even rarer, the owner would have done these terms. Can you explain how the terms work? This
So
is for
sometimes,
buyers out there that can potentially ask terms on what they want to buy.
yeah. So if in this instance here, there was a particular buyer that was asking for an option agreement. And in layman's terms, without going too much in the nitty gritty, it's for someone that goes, I want to buy this as an investment. I'm not sure if I can do what I want to do with the block. And I would like to put down a smaller deposit to effectively hold the block for a period of time, to go through council to see if I can do what I need to do. And if I can, great. We're going to complete on a pre agreed price. If I can't, then I'll walk away, but I'm not walking away from a full 10% deposit like a normal sale.
And it was amazing the owner was up for that.
Yeah. Some owners won't be up for it at all. Some might be, but as a generalized statement, an owner will always be preferred towards an offer, especially if it's a very similar price, just a straight up and down sale, someone willing to put down a 10% deposit, and exchange ready to go.
Yeah, it's really rare, but pretty exciting that they were going to do that. Now, this is the twist. If anyone who's just tuned in, we're talking about 24 Oliver Street. It was a house, an old house built already over 2 blocks. So when people called me up, they were like, "What do you mean it's already 2 blocks?" I'm like, "It's been like that for 50 years." They're like, "The house was built over 2 blocks." It's like, yeah, it was built over 2 blocks. Here's the twist. People were really unhinged when they found out that they were going to build, you could build a 3 or 4 bedroom house on such a small block. Where they were even further unhinged was what you could potentially sell a house on a block of that land size on. And this is the hack. Picture these 2 scenarios. I've got a 2-story house, very skinny, 3, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, on a little block of 260 meters squared. What's it worth? And I was saying to people, look, I reckon it's probably 3.5 to 4, and they're going, yeah, I think you'd be lucky if you get 3.5 million when you finish building a brand new house there. But this is the seed I planted with people. What if this was an apartment? And they went, huh? And I said, what if you built a 2-story apartment? Do you know what apartments sell for in the freshwater area? And do you know what apartments sell for in the DY area that are brand new? They sell for about 30,000 meters squared meter. And if you did build an apartment there, I'm talking a 2-story apartment instead of a house. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, isn't it? They sell for 30,000 a square meter. So suddenly it elevated your potential price to 4 or 4.5 million bucks on a per square meter rate. And is the appeal there for a buyer? Absolutely. You could put a little lift in there on your apartment. You'd have a yard in your apartment. You'd probably have a pool on your apartment. You'd be a 200 and I think the overall size was 235 meters squared internally. It changes the mindset straight away. And it was so close to the village, like you could sort of see an apartment in that location because it was close to all the village of Freshwater and all the apartments that are in there. So it challenges people's thinking.
It does. And also, you got to look at supply and demand. When someone's building a product like that, how many of those products are also around that other people are creating? And you look down in Freshwater there, you'd be lucky to count on one hand anything similar to what that is there in terms of something new that's come to the market. And so the beautiful thing about it is if you're creating something that's unique, there will always be a premium achieved with it. That's the block there for anyone, guys, if you're having a look. Sold 3.4 and the 2 blocks on there as well. So when you're creating something unique like that, and I think that's where really the money is, like Mark said, if you're creating an apartment, there's a value there with it. If you're creating a house, there's the value there with it. And also, you got to bear in mind as well, most people are working off today's prices. Mark, how long would it take before you actually were going to sell and settle, build these brand new, buy the property now, go through your DA, build the new properties? How long would it be before you actually put them back on the market?
People say 12 months, but it ends up being 2 years.
Yeah.
It ends up being 2 years. Something that we had to educate a lot of people on with this block of land was a thing called zero lot alignment. We had a lot of exposure around that in Warriewood when a lot of the Warriewood land subdivision was done. So there is an opportunity with council approval that you can build if you own both left and right blocks, that you can build them up against each other.
Yeah.
People don't know that normally you have to stay a metre or 900 off that boundary, which is your fence. But if you own both, you can ask council. And what it starts to look like is something like this. I don't know if you can see the two.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah,
doors,
brilliant.
2 garages, and that sort of stuff. Now, the
Yep.
benefit is that 2 metre channel down the middle of those two houses, or that 1 metre either side of a fence that would potentially go down the middle, is not wasted. It's built on. So don't forget zero lot alignments. You don't see them done a lot at all, but they are on offer.
But let's say that's over the depth of 20 meters or 30 meters. That's an extra 20 or 30 square meters per house of extra space you're
Yeah.
putting in.
Yeah, well said.
That's the equivalent of a 3 by 3 bedroom is 9 meters. Let's round it to 10 meters. That's an extra 2 or 3 bedroom site spaces that you're putting into the house. So don't discount. People think, oh, it's just an extra meter, puts them closer together. No, an extra 30 square meters on a house that is 268 square meters, an extra 10% in internal size. So it's a massive thing to be able to look into that. Like you said, most people aren't aware of it,
Yep.
but it's something that could significantly change your final sale price.
Yeah, big time. Luke's saying they're breaking up land in Perth at 180 metres squared for a house. You know what? I actually don't mind it. If I don't have to pay strata levies, and I don't have to, and I can be butted up against another house, which I'm not going to hear any noise from anyway, I sort of don't really care.
Yeah.
So I think there's an efficiency to it. I think we're definitely going to see more of it. Jaden's got a question.
What do you reckon you could get per side?
Juicy question. Juicy question. I reckon, and I am speculating, and don't rely on my inquiry, on your inquiry. But I reckon that if they were just simple homes, they would be a $3.5 to $4 million product,
Mm-hmm.
as in standalone homes. I reckon if you joined them together with zero lot alignments, and I think if you made them feel more like an apartment, you put a lift in, sexy pool, sexy finishes, you square up the buildings a little bit more so they don't look like bungalows.
Yeah.
They look like nicely chiseled, solid apartments, 2-story apartments. I reckon you could be a 4.5.
Interesting. I would agree with the concept of, funnily enough, like you think, how can an apartment go for more than a house? But you got to remember the demographic that you're appealing to. If you package those up as an apartment
Freshwater.
with the lift, with all that there, you're appealing to the downsizer. You're appealing to someone that sold their family home, that traditionally will be a little bit more cashed up, ready to go. And we see it happen time and time again with these luxury apartments. They go for big premiums. And
Yep.
who's the person buying them? Normally it's someone that's a downsizer that has the money. So
We've
very
got,
interesting.
look at the penthouse that we've got for sale in Balgala for 425.
Yeah. Same
Right?
concept.
Same concept. And this would be bigger by about 50 metres squared and walkable to the beach, and as much as a very desirable suburban street. So
And
yeah,
brand new.
it's interesting. Changing perception.
That's it. We want to explore more horizons. Small blocks work. That's true, Luke. And look, it's not for everyone. Some people want big blocks. The great thing is they're out there. But I think to have these extra options open for everyone, because someone who is traditionally looking at townhouse or strata living, to have these options of these smaller blocks, I just think it's good to have more and more diversity.
Yep. And if you do what Jaden's saying, if you actually take time with your approval and you massage it and you sledge it and you push it and you sort of maybe even argue it a little bit, there's money in it. So doing a complying development, going through CDC, which is not going through council, sometimes gives you that opportunity to massage through more bulk, more scale, a better floor plan, better setbacks. So if you're
Yeah.
rushing it, you'll get less. If you're taking time with it, you'll hopefully get more out of it.
Yeah. Very good.
Have a great day. And
Brilliant.
Michael,
Thanks. Yes,
you
Mark.
take care now. You hear?
Thank you, Mark.
This is Michael's last morning minutes.
Last morning minutes. See you,
Sign-
Mark.
Signing out. Thanks, bud.
Thanks,
Bye
guys.
bye.